The perception that police are biased, the perception that police are biased, especially this perception, especially if it is there in vulnerable sections, then I think we're doing a bad job. Especially these Dalits, these weaker sections, if these people develop this kind of a perception on police, then I think we utterly failed in our duty. Because if these people have no voice, they're the poorest of the lot. These people have no voice. And if these people, if they feel that police are biased, then that is something that we need to seriously ponder. That is one thing what I ask you to just give it a little bit of thought. There in those sections, perception should change. In the police department also, have a reception area. Let's engage, even if it's going to mean recruiting people, we will recruit people. Have somebody in the front section. The moment somebody comes into the police department, let it be a reception area with a wonderful smile, receiving the complainant. It should be done. When somebody comes to lodge a complaint, it's out of distress that they're coming. It's not that, we are doing them a favor by taking the complaint. We are rendering our service. So it's very important that, you receive them well. With a smile, the receptionist receives them. Have them seated. Then a police comes. How do you see in the Western world? A police comes, talks to them, understands them, then files the case. These kind of mechanisms should have to come in place. I think all of your youngsters, I think you can bring about this change, this transformation what was never there before. And I think Gautamanna also is wanting to bring about change, so I think they should be attempted. Friendly police. It's very important. And yesterday, while I was conversing with the collectors, I was mentioning about district portals. The district portals should document copies of FIRs, licenses, permissions given. All of these also should be made available in the district portals. The DPOs, the SDPOs, circle officers, SHOs should all be linked to this district portal, e-government system to ensure speed and transparency. Now, when we have, two things will happen by showing this kind of transparency. One, it will mount pressure on us to expedite the disposal of these cases. That's good. Two, it will showcase transparency. Now, both these things are very important. Another important thing what I advise the SPs to do is have a gauge of citizens' satisfaction. Every police department, whichever areas they are, whichever jurisdictions they come under. Just gauge how the SIs are performing, how CIs are performing, how DSPs are performing, how ASPs are performing. In that area, just conduct a third-party citizen gauge, third-party inquiries, so that you get feedback, whether that CI is corrupt, whether that SI is corrupt, whether the DSP is corrupt. See, we at the top level decide to be non-corrupt. 50% of corruption is gone. Then the other 50% is, how do we curtail corruption at that stage? That's the 50%. That's the steps what we need to take. So have a gauge. Take periodical inquiries. Why do we just believe somebody who says I'm not corrupt? You don't know how the SI is performing, or the CI is performing, or the DSP is performing. We just hear news and then we take decisions. Because that guy is sweet to us, because that guy speaks to us well, we presume that this guy is good. We don't know. Conduct a third-party inquiry. Gauge the perception from the people. How is this CI? How is this SI? You know for yourself. Then you can take a call. Shift him out, not to shift him out. Ask for somebody to be shifted out, not ask for somebody to be shifted out. These are the options, choices what you would have with more on scientific basis. Not out of whims and fancies, but more on scientific grounds. Take feedback from the victims, take feedback from the citizens on behavior of the officer, speedy disposal of cases by the officer, fairness of the officer. In all such parameters, what would actually improve? Then the response time. Now, I was just telling yesterday, every level, mandal level to district collector level, in their respective offices, conduct a grievance cell is what I was telling them. Where in that grievance cell conducted on Monday, we named it as Spandana. We asked the officers not only to conduct the grievance cells, but also take their telephone numbers and give them a receipt as to when we would be clearing their plea. That helps. And that receipt, I asked the collectors to randomly check if that receipt is being honored or not. Collectors also would be doing that. Giving a receipt on speedy disposal, saying that I would dispose in 15 days' time. I would dispose this case in 1 week's time. I would dispose this case in 3 days' time. Whatever time you think is right, mention it in the receipt, on the receipt. Then it is your duty to ensure that it happens from the collector to the bottommost level. Then the collectors, when they go for inspection, surprise checks, meet the villagers, they can ask for the receipts. They say, has it been done or not? Have the timelines been met or not? It speaks something about the officer that you're dealing with. It speaks something about the credibility that is attached to this disposal mechanism. All that will happen if we can also bring about the same systems in place. No, it's something different. But when tried, it could send a strong message of credibility, of transparency, of speedy disposal. All three in place. I've asked the collectors to practice this. I would also request the SPs to bring it in place. It helps. Let there be, somebody goes to file a complaint, There is someone who receives them with a smile on their face. Somebody attends to them, takes their complaint, gives them a receipt, says that so and so matter would be disposed in so many days. There is a sense of confidence that, okay, I am well received, somebody is attending my job. It sends a strong signal. I think it will send a strong transformation signal. And also SPs also, if they can shun pre-guided tours and conduct surprise checks, make night halts in the villages, even that would help. Direct interaction with the villages, pay special focus in visiting the localities inhabited by the weaker sections. SP going to a weaker section colony, SPs themselves asking, how is my CI doing? How is my SI doing? Are they doing good? Are you happy with them? It sends such a strong message. SP is doing. And it's not a pre-guided tour. Suddenly it's a surprise. Nobody knows where you're going. Suddenly you just get down, go to a weaker section, ask them, how is my CI doing? How is my SI doing? Are they doing good? Are you happy with them? And now it sends a strong message. It helps change the system. But please make sure that you smile when you go there. That helps. Then some of the guidances come from cyber crimes. Police officials are not fully equipped to deal with these cases. But this is something what is becoming reality these days. Cyber stalking and harassment on social media against women should be given topmost priority. Women are something, if we cannot protect, then I think we're failing in our duty. Stalking, cyber harassment, especially with cell phones coming, at the numbers at which they're coming, all these things have become byproducts. Social imbalance, cyber harassment. We do not have sufficient training at the bottom level. Probably, organize for, training for us even at the topmost level, so that this training could be taken up to the bottommost level. Cyber crime is something this is going to be future. We need to gear up. Check out how other states are doing. Check out how the Western world is doing, how the developed countries are doing, how they're doing, and how are they dealing with it, and how do we deal with it. And then proper training at the bottommost level is very important. Eve T saying, I don't have to mention. Eve T saying, I guess by and large, I don't think I should go anything beyond this. I think all of you are quite capable. But I just thought, these are the best practices. When we say good government, good governance, best practices, good policing, number one policing, I think these are the areas what should be touched. And I have absolute confidence and faith in you. In fact, if you remember right, Before even my cabinet was sworn in, I finished recruitment of SPs. I finished recruitment of collectors. Before even my cabinet was sworn in. And you know how I did it? I just took 3 parameters: honesty, efficiency, and not leaning towards TDP. Of course, I had to do that. Otherwise, the system would get further polluted. Meaning balance, neutral. That means YCP is not in power, that means somebody would be leaning towards YCP, obviously. It's only going to be the ruling party that people would be leaning towards at best. The reason why I did what I did was, last 5 years the system collapsed. The SPs and the collectors were made party to it. In a way, they were just asked to see rather than to do anything. That's what I just spoke about. Sand mafia, the illegalities, what I just gave you examples, and they were just made party to it. Illegalities, what should not be tolerated, were tolerated. Looting, what was not supposed to have been tolerated, was tolerated. Corruption, what was not supposed to have been tolerated, was tolerated. And all of it happened in front of our eyes. So obviously I had to see for people who were not leaning towards TDP, so that a neutral atmosphere could come out. So I looked at honesty, I looked at efficiency. And then I figured out these people were the best for the jobs. And with utmost respect to you, I urge you to deliver good governance. I am not going to interfere, especially when it comes to corruption, especially when it comes to illegal activities, especially when it comes to looting. You have my word for it. And I am telling you from this stage, anybody who gives you instructions to do that, ignore them. Ignore them. But the rest of the areas, take people into confidence. Take the MLAs into confidence. Take the ministers into confidence, because we are together as one. Governance means all of us together. So take everybody together. Bring in a governance what is inclusive governance. With inclusive governance, a lot of problems could be addressed in a better way, in a speedier manner, in an efficient manner. So keep that in mind. I don't think I should say anything beyond this. And I wish you all the best, and you have my faith and my confidence. And please make me proud. Thank you.